All right, hi everybody. I have my Christmas pillows. I know it's a little early, but you do you. For me, like I just want to decorate and have enough time to like enjoy it. I feel like if you decorate so late in December, it's gonna go by so fast, right? So I figure after Halloween, November 1st, full reigns to put out your Christmas decor. I have a little bit of stuff up right now. I think I'm gonna work on the Christmas tree is like really overwhelming for me because it's I have one of those ones that's like flocked and it has like fake snow on it, so it is just so messy. So I feel like that's like a mission, right? To take that out, clean up after it, and so maybe this weekend I'll do that. But I just feel really good with decorations, and again, as I'm kind of figuring out like what I like, what I like to have around me in my home. It's decor. Like I like decor, so I usually don't decorate a whole lot for Halloween, but we did like fall, where I have little pumpkins everywhere. So that was fun. I do love Christmas. That's my favorite holiday. So we will be decorating for Christmas as well. So for this video, I wanted to talk about relationships because I kind of been thinking about that over the last few days, and how if you were brought up to be parentified, where maybe you grew up super fast, you were helping your parents with the kids, the siblings that you had, and maybe helping financially. I feel like there are certain traits that you might have experienced growing up and in relationships as well. And yeah, my history, I was in a relationship for 13 years, so it was a very, very long relationship. And I feel like for me, I just definitely took second fiddle. And in that relationship, I just felt like there wasn't enough space for me. And I kind of go in as a people pleaser. That's just kind of what I do with a lot of my relationships, right? If you know me, you know that I'm going to go above and beyond to do whatever you need. I'm the person that you call whenever you need at 2 a.m, whatever. I will be there for you. But a lot of the times it was at the detriment of myself, right? And in this particular situation, I think it was just so, yeah. And then there was a period of time where I was walking on eggshells a lot. So I didn't want to rock the boat. And I think for me, it's always been about conflict avoidance. Like I found that for me, it was just easier to either shut down completely. So that's what I would do, right? If there was ever anything that arose that really upset me, and I'm getting better at this, but I've never been a really good communicator, I feel like. So for me, it's almost like the silence is what works the best for me, although again I'm working on it. But so if there was something that would make me upset that my ex did, or even just my day-to-day, something that would make me upset, I would more likely do the silent treatment, just because I didn't know how to voice what I was feeling. So if I was upset about something that he said or something that he did, I didn't know how to accurately like say, hey, this is what bothered me. And plus I was conflict avoidant. So I also didn't want to have that conflict. And so in some cases, I would just brush it under the rug like nothing happened and try to, in my mind, rationalize it, which was awful. Like I would say, oh, this is probably why, and and that's probably why, and this and this. And I think there's a time for that, but if it's like constantly where you're almost like you're gaslighting yourself because you're saying like, no, this happened because of this, and this is because of that, or yeah, like I feel like that's probably not super healthy either. So I think for me it was a matter of, okay, realizing, this is just the way it was. And for years, think about like 13 years with somebody that I never really got super good at communicating. And I feel like what was odd about that relationship is we were both avoidant in a way. Like we were kind of like just on our separate islands, and somehow it worked for a while. And I think because we weren't super connected, like it's almost like we felt like we were connected on paper, but then we were just kind of doing our own thing. And he would leave like multiple times a year to go out with his family in a different location. So I feel like that was hard. It was just odd. And I think I definitely put myself again on the back burner. The focus was on him. I didn't want to rock the boat. I didn't want to make anything, any bigger than it needed to be. So that was really hard. And even pivoting. So once that was over, then I took some time because again, I was out of this relationship of so long, and then I didn't even know what to do with myself. Like it was such a weird feeling, because it's almost like and it got really bad at the end. There was just a lot of other external factors that played into it. So I probably knew, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. And that's kind of a trend with my relationships. And I'm curious if this happens with you also. I'd be curious to see if this also happens in your relationships also. But I find that I will stick around with somebody even though I know that I'm done. Like mentally, I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore. And one of my first relationships, and this breaks my heart because I'm thinking like, man, why? Like, but I didn't even like, it got to the point that I just didn't even like this person anymore. Like I literally just didn't like them. Like I was even hoping, and this is such a weird thought, but I was hoping that they would like do something that would make it easy for me to break up with them. And I think that the issue with him is that I loved his family so much. Like I adored his family. So that was like the biggest piece. I'm like, I can't break up with him because his family's so nice and I don't want to hurt their feelings. And it was just awful because it's like I was checked out. I was checked out for probably like, and I'm in my early 20s. So this is like, you know, really good time for me to be like, okay, yeah, let me see what's out there and let me, you know, discover myself and all of that. But no, it was literally just like years that I stayed in that relationship because I didn't want to have a conflict. I didn't want to look like a bad person, you know, in front of the family that I loved so much. But yeah, I didn't even like him. And thankfully, I don't know if thankfully is the word, but he cheated on me, which was kind of ironic because I was like, you know, I wanted out anyway. So it was the perfect out. And then, you know, it was perfect because I'm just like, bye, I'm out of here. So you gave me the reason that I was looking for to make it easier on myself, that I don't have to like, you know, talk about my reasonings and all that with you. I'm out the door, right? And I moved out like as soon as I found out. So, but yeah, like the amount of relief that I had when I got out of that relationship. But then I had other relationships where same thing, right? I just stick around because one, I don't want to rock the boat. I think for me, I get really comfortable too. And I'm curious if this is the same for you, where you kind of get in your patterns. You understand that you're kind of status quo and you get so used to that shaking it up just, I think, seems really scary. But yeah, that's definitely a pattern of mine, is that I would stay in relationships longer than needed, and that I had already mentally in my head exited, but I was still there, right? So I think that's definitely a pattern that I've noticed. I think just, yeah, definitely not putting myself first. You know, I know for me when it comes to relationships, and, you know, I'm getting better, but I'm kind of usually that person that's like, oh, somebody asks, like, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? Right? Like and I think for me, what's really interesting is I wouldn't suggest to do things because in the back of my mind, and this might be, I don't know what this is, perfectionism or whatever. I don't want to let people down. That's like, if there's an unconscious story that's in my head right now, it's I don't want to let people down. That's a big one for me. So I think a lot of these behaviors come out of that. But for me, yeah, like if somebody asks me, like, what do you want to do today? And my boyfriend is so good at that. My current boyfriend, he is amazing because he, you know, he makes it so much about me, and I'm not so used to that at all. So for me, I just kind of go to my default, like, well, I don't know, what do you want to do, right? Because I think there was a period of time where I didn't want to suggest anything because I didn't want to suggest a restaurant or suggest something new, because if it would be bad or that person didn't like it or it was like a crappy activity or we had really bad service, then I took that on my shoulders. Like that was my fault. I picked this place, I picked this activity, and you hated it, and now I'm the worst, and I will never do that again because I obviously don't know what I'm doing. Like just the worst. And I'm just like, oh my God, like how did I carry that for so long? And it, yeah, so now again, I'm in a good place. So he'll ask me that question and I'll honestly think like, what do I really want to do? And what do I want to share with you? And what do I think would be fun? And, you know, those expectations and this, like, I feel like it was like an armor in a way. It's just, it's so sad because it was so heavy, you know, and those are just things that you shouldn't have to shoulder, and you should just, you know, just give recommendations. And, you know, your voice is valuable. That's another thing I'm learning now. You know, your voice deserves to be heard, and the things that you want to do are important. And so, yeah, I feel like that is something that I was definitely not doing in the past. You know, not offering any recommendations, not, you know, giving any insight, nothing like that. So, yeah, I feel like that's a big part of it. And with the healing, there's a lot of, you know, learning to really focus on myself, but also, you know, when I got out of this last relationship, the longer one, I just had so much mental, like, bandwidth. Like it was so bizarre to me because I think so much of my energy and my, the things that I was thinking about on a daily basis all revolved around this person. So it was so much, and I guess you don't really realize, and that's what they say, you don't realize like what your burden is until you let it go. And then you kind of see like, whoa, like that was so heavy and for so long. And unfortunately, again, at the end, it just got really, really bad. But yeah, and thankfully I was in therapy. I think that was kind of my saving grace at that period in my life because, there was a lot of work that I was doing with her. And basically I was like, I'm out of here. Like, that's it. Right. So, and that took me years, unfortunately. Again, I was checked out, but I, was trying to make it work. So, but yeah, I think when I got out of that relationship, I gave myself, it was probably like 2 to 3 years of just being. I didn't want to date. I didn't want to, like, even just the thought of being with somebody else at that point, I think it was just that the energy was like gone. Like let me just sit in whatever this is. But it was such a newfound, like, oh my God, like I have energy to spare. I am not tired all the time. I'm not frazzled all the time. I was getting sick constantly because my body was like always on edge. So I was getting sick all the time. I just didn't feel right. I feel like my life was like work, and then there wasn't any like spark. Like it was work, and I was an workaholic because that, I feel like that took me a focus that I could zero in on that I didn't have to deal with all the other stuff that was more emotional and more taxing on me. So I would just throw myself into work 12, 13, 14 hours a day. And then, I didn't have, like, that whole period of time, I'm like, what were, like, my hobbies? Like, what did I do for fun? Like, there was literally not much of that at all. Like, we would travel together, and that was awesome. But I feel like the in-between, there wasn't a whole lot of, like, ooh, like, let me work on this hobby or let me work on that hobby. I think there was always something that I would start, and then it just kind of would frizzle out, just because fizzle out. I like frizzle better. I'm going to go with frizzle. But, yeah, they would just frizzle out. So I think that was another thing, right? I didn't focus on myself to give myself that opportunity. So I think with this relationship that I'm in now, it is so much different. And I think that this was always, I don't know, like it's weird to say, but I don't think I ever had a full-on expectation of what love's supposed to look like. And then this person that I'm with now just kind of like showed me like, oh, this is what it looks like to be healthy in a healthy relationship. So, and there's a meme, and if I find it, I don't know if I can, I don't know what like copyright laws and all that are for YouTube, but I think there's like a meme that says, once you meet a healthy man, or once you're in a healthy relationship and you don't know how to act, and it's one of those goats that's like, just screaming her head off. So I'm like, that was kind of me in the beginning, because it's just like like he would do things and then I'd be like, well, like what's the intention behind, like it was just so like jaded, such a jaded perspective of like, oh, this, you really want like me? What? So just really, really odd. So in the beginning, I was so glad that he was so patient with me. But yeah, I feel like with us, with people that have been parentified, I feel like you need somebody that is so patient. And that's what I think I wanted my whole life. I didn't realize that's what I wanted, but that's obviously what I wanted, because he is just so patient with me. I am like all over the place. So with my head, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And he will just, and he grounds me. And that's exactly what I need. I need somebody that's just stable, and that is reliable, and that shows up. Because yeah, it's like you think, you take care of everybody else, but who takes care of you? And then it's like, well, I do, and I have for so long. So I think there's a part of me that wasn't really looking for that from an external person, just because I've never really had somebody like that in my life. And so I just never thought that was possible, and you hear about all these beautiful love stories, and like, yeah, that's great. But I just never really felt like I could trust anybody enough to give them all of that and not have them let me down. I think that's kind of a big piece of trust in general, right? If I don't let you in, you're not going to hurt me. if I don't let you in and I don't let you do these things, you're not going to disappoint me if you don't do it. So I'll just do everything myself. And that's not fair, you know, and you can't shoulder that by yourself. So I think it's super important, and I hope that you all find somebody like that, or if you don't have somebody like that right now. But I think for me personally, that's what I was looking for. And I didn't even know it. Again, it's not like that was if I wrote all the things that I want from somebody on a list, right? That wouldn't have been on there, because I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know I need somebody that's patient. But I think now having somebody like that, that's everything, because I don't feel alone anymore. I don't feel like, and again, being in these long relationships where they're like, man, you must have it all, right? Like, no, not really. But yeah, not feeling like you have it all, feeling like you have somebody in your team and somebody in your corner that is there regardless. And it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you're just you're bed rotting all day, you're not being productive, like they will still love you for you. And I think that's a beautiful thing that I don't think I ever really thought that I would find. So that makes me really happy. And again, I hope that that's an option and available for all of you. Okay, so this is getting a little long, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up outside. So we'll meet up next week. There's a few other things I wanna bring up and talk about. Just things that I'm noticing. Again, you're witnessing all of this real time. So it's not like, you're not dealing with a healed person here. Oh, are you okay, honey? You're not dealing with somebody that's already got it all figured out. I don't. Every day that I have, and I encourage you to follow me if you're not following me on TikTok and Instagram, because I do have like my daily things on there where just little triumphs, little tribulations, little other things that pop up that I want to share with you. Because again, I'm in it. I've been in it for a while, but we're moving in the right direction. I feel better about where I'm at, and I'm hoping that you seeing somebody that's actually in this process now will help maybe motivate you or give you some insight. I mean, whatever works, I'm here for you. And my dog is licking me in the mouth, so I will end it, but I will see you next week. I hope you have a great week, rest of the week. I see you, and you deserve all the good things.